WWE 2K24 MyRISE has finally been announced and revealed, and so we finally have our first details of the story mode for this year. So first of all, before we get into this, if anybody from Visual Concepts is watching this, can we stop marketing this as a career mode? It's not. Have you seen other sports games? This is clearly not a career mode. It is a story mode, okay? I'm sorry, like, I can't have been the only person that got a little bit excited when they announced career mode in the official reveal trailer, you know? I don't know. But, what matters is we've got our first details, our first look of the 2K24 MyRISE, and already it looks to be better than at least the lock from last year. The lock, in my opinion, was quite generic. It was really predictable, and yeah, it just got really fatiguing by the end of it. It just didn't feel original enough, but Undisputed is one that certainly feels different. So here is the synopsis. In Undisputed, Roman Reigns follows in the footsteps of The Rock and heads to Hollywood, vacating his championship and leaving big boots to fill for our protagonist, so us. But the tribal chief won't stay gone for long and doesn't appreciate a pretender to his throne. So if you've seen the original details, the first hour of it, basically, the trailer, if you've seen the trailer, we actually end up winning the Undisputed Championship with the help of Roman Reigns in a tournament. He just comes out of nowhere, screws Cody Rhodes, and pulls us over Cody Rhodes to give us the championship. So it's also quite weird to see that we've got a rivalry with Roman Reigns, but clearly that will end at WrestleMania and not SummerSlam. So I'm thinking there'll be a lot of stuff in between, kind of like this wedding thing that they've shown. There's got to be a lot of stuff in between leading up to what really matters, and that is the rivalry with Reigns. Sort of how The Lock had the whole indie scene thing after you got fired from WWE up until, the return, and then, going after the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So obviously, that appears to be the case. So I'm quite intrigued to see what happens there. We know the rivalry with Reigns is going to be absolutely fire because Roman Reigns actually does voice himself, obviously. And there's other people who do dialogue as well. Cody Rhodes is one of them, Dirty Dom, Mick Foley, Shotzi, and more, apparently. So it's definitely going to be a really, really good one. There's this wedding scene, which I think that is Gigi Dolan. So apparently we're going to be marrying Gigi Dolan, but you know how things go in weddings when it comes to the WWE. They never, ever, ever go well. So I'm quite intrigued and interested to see how that goes ahead. And I'm also intrigued to see the personality of our character, One thing that I definitely dislike about MyRISE in particular is that we don't really have a set character that we can decide. It's always decided by the writing, and I just wish there was more depth to a character, like where certain choices you make in the game influence your superstar's character and personality. I feel like that would be a really, really good idea, because as good as the legacy was, I didn't really like the female character too much up until the last section of the game, where it felt like the storyline was really good and immersive and believable. But The Lock, I liked our character in The Lock. I empathized with our character quite often, but I've seen a lot of people on Reddit, for example, complain that he's too much of a brash individual. He doesn't quite see the bigger picture, and that's why he gets fired, and he's the whole ungrateful thing. He doesn't really learn his lesson or whatever. That's the problem people have. And from what I've seen thus far of Undisputed, our superstar seems to be someone who's completely out of his depth. If you've seen the first hour of the game, we almost get absolutely demolished by Kevin Owens and we win via roll-up. You know, I don't want my superstar's personality and character to be someone who wins via roll-up. You know, I want a character that is dominant, you know, like he's deserving of being the champion. So hopefully we get something like that in Undisputed. Now, Unleashed is the female story, and the synopsis goes as follows. The women's division experience players step into the boots of a wrestler who founded the hottest promotion on the indie scene. But when given the opportunity to share her talents on the larger stage of WWE, will she unleash her full potential or hesitate and hold back? So the first thing you'll notice from these screenshots is this indie promotion. I do like how 2K, well not 2K, but these developers, so Ukes did it first and Visual Concepts seem to be continuing it here, are making their own indie promotions. So a lot of us at the time were really, really having a lot of fun with BCW back in 2K19. It was a lot of fun. I think they returned BCW like a couple of times throughout the last 2 games. So, you know, it was always really good to see Blade Championship Wrestling. And because Baron Blade is a bit of a meme within the 2K community, it was always really cool to see that. However, what does TBD stand for? Because it just sounds like to be, you know, discussed or developed or to be decided. Like, what is it supposed to be? I don't know. I don't know at all. So, I don't know. The first impression, the initial impression of a promotion called TBD is a bit lame and confusing. So hopefully it stands for something pretty cool. And hopefully it's not like to be decided or something like that. That would be really, really lame. And honestly wouldn't make any sense. Like, it's like they're trying to make it sound like really bad. I don't know. But that's a nitpick, to be quite honest. I love that we're starting in the indie scene for Unleashed. I feel like that's absolutely awesome. However, something I did complain about, and I don't think I actually complained about it in my 2K23 review, but I did complain about it throughout the Lock Let's Play. What's happened to NXT? Why can't we ever start in NXT? You know, in Undisputed, I didn't mention it, because it didn't need to be mentioned, but we actually start on the main roster. We're in this tournament already. Like, have we already made our debut? Is this tournament our debut? If so, why are we going ahead of other superstars again? I don't want to be a superstar that gets ahead of other superstars through less work. Like, unless it's going to be like The Lock, where, you know, we were a big star in the indies beforehand, or it's implied that we were, then that's fine, but I don't know. I really miss being able to just start in NXT. It's something I've been doing going back to 2K17 My Career Mode. It's just getting everything done that I can possibly do in NXT first before going onto the main roster. And I genuinely do miss getting to start in NXT, because NXT is just not getting any sort of spotlight anymore. It's like they're trying to sweep it under the rug and save it only for side missions, and I'm just not a fan of that. I want to be able to wrestle in NXT once more. I don't know. But other than that, I think that's pretty much all we've got to talk about. I mean, Xavier Woods has an alter ego now called Zero, which is a pretty cool idea. I had a little giggle to myself because that logo on his right pant leg is literally one of the generic logos from as far back as 2K15. Like, it's been there for a long time. Those boots, they've got flames on them. Is that I think that might be something I remember being in 2K17, because it was a pair of boots that I've been using recently. I don't know. But it's really cool to see that Xavier's really taking a big part in these games. It's such a breath of fresh air to see someone like Xavier Woods, who has been supporting these games, like been a big part of these games, a fan of these games since as far back as this one, 2K17, you know? Who remembers Austin Creed's playthrough of 2K17, you know? We've got this created generic superstar, Psycho Sally, which I actually kind of like, you know. She looks pretty cool. I actually do like her character model. She might be the first created superstar in a while that I've seen that has been added to the game that I actually really like since Cole Quinn, you know. And then, you know, the list of jobbers that ended up becoming actually pretty good as you went through the career mode in 2K17, you know? It'd be really cool if they could return some of those guys. Can you imagine Jaden Jet back in a story? Like, oh, bro. Jaden Jet, Brody Tyson, Lance Zander. You could go even further back to 2K15 and bring back El Hondero, Zeus Tucker. Like... They could do that. I feel like that would be a really nice throwback, especially for those of us who have, you know, been with this 2K iteration of the WWE game since the very beginning. It would be really cool, but, you know, who knows. But that's pretty much all the details we've got for WWE 2K24 MyRISE. Admittedly, there hasn't been too much around Unleashed. Because, I don't know, maybe people are just sexist and just weren't interested in the female story. Because I noticed that was a thing in 2K23. Because not many YouTubers actually played through that. Which is strange. And they really missed out, to be honest. Because that was a really, really good story. Especially, again, towards the end. But who knows. Either way, I am looking forward to both. I don't know which one I'm going to play through first. I think we'll play through Undisputed first, since I am a male after all. But I think I'll do like the first episode for both modes, for both stories on the same day. I want to do the live stream of Showcase, but unfortunately, you know, I'm working that day most likely, since I'm back at work now. Literally on the day the game comes out, on March 8th, I know. I'm now regretting not getting a more expensive edition just because I could have been able to play a lot earlier, but it would not have been worth it in the long run, and I definitely would have regretted it a lot more than actually not buying it. So, yeah, most likely we're going to be doing MyRISE videos on Friday night. And then Saturday and Sunday, most likely my GM and... universe mode coverage, maybe. I don't know. But I know on Monday, on the Monday after the game comes out, we'll be playing Showcase from start to finish. At least that's my aim anyway. It's only 21 matches, so we'll see what happens, but I aim to do that. So if you want to see more WWE 2K24 content, this is the place to be. I'm going to just put out as much content as possible for 2K24. This is going to be the last WWE game that I purchase at launch now. These games are just not worth the asking price. And since I'm only interested in MyRISE for the most part anyway, these games are only like worth 20 quid for me. So in future games, in future installments, if I'm interested enough, I'll be buying them on offer, or not even playing them at all, you know, or waiting until after the next game comes out to get the last one. Who knows? But we're focusing on the here and now, and I'm really, really excited to play WWE 2K24. I've got a bunch of plans for it because we're going to finish the story, guys. Okay, this is going to be like, I feel bad for the promises I made for WWE 2K23 because I did say I wanted to do a bunch of content for that game when it came out. I did originally plan to, but A, I didn't enjoy the game too much, and B, we ended up playing other things, especially when F1 23 came out, and I was just much more wanting to play that game. So, but since, you know, I'm getting 2K24 at launch now, there's a few months in between now and F1 24's launch where I can literally just focus on WWE 2K24, so, for the most part. So, yeah, really looking forward to it. We've got one more preview video of 2K24 coming up, which is the soundtrack. That'll be a really short video that I'll put out next Monday. Either way, other than that, I've spoken about everything we need to talk about for WWE 2K24. Be sure to check out my Everything You Need to Know So Far video at the beginning, although you wouldn't need to watch that actually, because it's outdated now. We know more. All of us know more, especially if you're watching this. So feel free to go watch my Am I Wrong About WWE 2K24 video. feel free to watch my 40 years of WrestleMania Angry Rant video. Thank you guys so much for 3,000 plus views on that. It's crazy. And yeah, I will see you guys on March 8th for the launch of WWE 2K24. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.